Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel for another Mounjaro update on this beautiful Wednesday. It has finally stopped raining here and I am here for it. If you live in the Carolinas or around the Carolinas, then you know that we have been swamped by rain over the past like 5 or 6 days. It's just been absolutely like rain, constant rain. So I'm finally ready for some sunshine, but that's still cold. I've heated it up like twice. It's been one of those mornings and it's still not that hot. But anyway, I'm here today with you guys for another Mounjaro update. I have some good news. I have some bad news or some not so good news. So we're just gonna go ahead and delve into it. We're talking about this shortage today. And then we also have a little bit of an update on Orderly Meds and their process. There are, I think, about 100 of you now that have signed up since I signed up that I can see that used like my link or whatever. And because of that, I know I might as well just kind of update you guys here on that, but I figured out that they're kind of changing their processing system, which could be really beneficial for a lot of people. So let's start with Mounjaro ZEP Bound shortages. Now, there's no secret that it has been crazy lately over the past 2 months, I would say, trying to get your Mounjaro, your ZEP Bound for weight loss. Even Ozempic and Wegovy have been really struggling with keeping up with the demand, but Mounjaro and ZEP Bound specifically, it's just an unsurmounted amount of people trying to get on this medication, trying to keep up, take the medication, and they have not been able to keep up with it. Now, Eli Lilly actually just reported their first quarter earnings, and Mounjaro earnings were actually $200 million lower than what was projected by Wall Street, and that is because they were not able to keep up with the production. And Eli Lilly has come out and said that that is obviously like a big hole in their game, you know, right now, that they're not able to keep up and they're not able to make the forecasted profits and all of that. I mean, they still made billions and billions of dollars, but their profits were lower than projected for Mounjaro. Now with ZEP Bound, those way surpassed the expectations. And I think that that was because overall, especially in the beginning of 2024, ZEP Bound was being prioritized in terms of production since there was a higher demand for it. You know, there's a lot more people, way more people out there trying to lose weight and be on this new novel weight loss medication versus people trying to get Mounjaro that are diabetic when there is 9 million other diabetes medicines. There's just a higher need for the ZEP Bound, or not a need, a higher demand for the ZEP Bound. And because of that, ZEP Bound was prioritized greatly, I would say. There are I don't know if this is true or not, but there are rumors that, they were pretty much just zapping. I mean, it's all the same thing, but like, what they were choosing to put the label on essentially was ZEP Bound because they could obviously make more money that way. So ZEP Bound surpassed the profits and Mounjaro was short on profits. Now, what that means is that Eli Lilly has, really taken a step back and tried to evaluate and analyze how they are going to be able to keep up with the demand. There are currently at least five factories in production that will be able to start helping produce, help the overall bottom line, and help to get more of these medications out. I know that the one in North Carolina is slated to open in early 2025, and hopefully that makes a difference, especially for those in this area, but although I'm not really sure that matters. So 5 new factories coming our way. And then over in Europe, they actually are undergoing the whole process to get the quick pen going, which should help overall with shortages. The quick pen is sort of like an insulin pen that has multiple dosages in it. Excuse me. And so there are some areas of the world that are already using the quick pen for Mounjaro ZEP Bound. And they're trying to get that out, as well as obviously the whole thing with the ZEP Bound vial has been going around for over a month now, and most people are assuming that something will be announced in the sort of meeting that Eli Lilly has within the next month or so, but that's just something that we're gonna have to wait and see on. I personally really hope that they release vials of ZEP Bound. I think that could drastically reduce the shortage issues, although I'm not sure that it would really help on cost issues because the pen itself doesn't necessarily cost a lot of money. The Mounjaro does. So, you know, that's just that. But there are things coming down the line that should help with the shortage problems. However, they're not immediate. And for the foreseeable future, Mounjaro, ZEP Bound are going to be in shortage. Most people, I mean, the saying right now is through August 2024, but pretty much if you've been following along, pretty much any time they get to to get to the date, whatever date they said. So they said April. When they get to April, they push it out to May. When they get to May, they push it out to June. It just keeps getting pushed back, and I anticipate that that will happen through 2024, just based on the data trends that you see. The need or the want for these drugs is only increasing, and until Eli Lilly gets these new factories up and running and can increase production drastically, then these shortages are going to continue. The plan, Eli Lilly, when they released this new, like, hey, we've got 5 new factories coming, we're trying to figure this out, they did say that over the course of the year through the end of this year, they are going to be able to ramp up production by 50%, which is a pretty, I mean, that's a lot. That's a good amount. And that should definitely help, but that's, like I said, not going to be an immediate thing. It is something that's going to take time. And so for the foreseeable future, it seems as if most people are going to have to be being very proactive about locating their medication, calling several weeks ahead to sort of get on the list or whatever, or making sure that your pharmacy knows that this is something that you want monthly, and, you know, talking to your pharmacy, having a good relationship with them, and really, you know, trying to figure it out. I did, for the sake of this video, call my good friend Andy at the pharmacy that I use, although since switching to Orderly, I've not obviously been trying to get the Mounjaro, but I have called him just a few times since switching, just to see sort of what the shortage is looking like in our area. Now, I can say that Andy and that pharmacy is within, I would say, 3 miles of this new pharmacy, or of the new factory. So he's really hopeful that things will change for them soon. However, he is still having a lot of trouble. He did say that he is able to get Mounjaro, especially the sort of mid doses, 5, 7.5, 10, way easier than he is able to get ZEP Bound. It seems that a lot of doctors have made the switch and made the jump to switching everybody that was on Mounjaro off-label for weight loss over to ZEP Bound. And so that has freed up the Mounjaro for diabetics, which is awesome, I think. That it's freed that up, and then it's put more of a strain on being able to find ZEP Bound, is what Andy was telling me. So he said that they are still very much so having a lot of issues with ZEP Bound. He said that he might get 1 or 2 in a week, and then he's got such a long list that there have been people that have been waiting for 8 to 10 weeks at this point. He did say that I probably would have gotten mine a long time ago by now had I, you know, continued to push for it, but there are people that have been on his list, he says, for 8 to 10 weeks. So that is crazy. And then just for, you know, kicks, I also called my local CVS, which is about 45 minutes from Andy and his pharmacy, just to see sort of what their timeline issues were. And I sort of posed it as I was somebody that was looking for it, and I was at a different pharmacy. So, you know, pharmacy hunting or whatever. And they told me that it's very similar. It's hit or miss. They can't promise anybody getting it. And they recommend calling at least 2 weeks ahead of when you need your prescription to make sure that you're on the list. And then even then, there's still no guarantee that you are going to get it. So that is obviously a huge thing that we're still struggling with. Now, on the same topic of Mounjaro, ZEP Bound, I was reading this morning about Eli Lilly and about insurance coverage in terms of Mounjaro and ZEP Bound, and there does seem to be some very promising news for Medicare users or Medicare plan participants, and that is that most analysts are seeing a trend going towards Medicare covering Mounjaro if the current studies that are underway prove that Mounjaro reduces the risks of heart attack and stroke. There are studies currently, SURMOUNT studies going right now to see if both of those, to kind of test that out and see if they are effective in reducing the risk. If you remember, I mentioned maybe 4 or 5 videos ago on my other channel, obviously, that Wegovy, Ozempic have shown to reduce the risk of heart attack in people that are taking it and helping with heart disease and all of that. And so now they are doing studies to see if Mounjaro, ZEPBOUND, same thing, tirzepatide, is as effective as, or more effective as Wegovy and Ozempic. And so most people are predicting that if those studies go in favor of the risk being lowered for heart attack and stroke, that Medicare will start to cover Mounjaro under that statistic. So if you are somebody that is higher at risk or whatever, then they may cover that. And that is something that is very promising, because a lot of the people that need coverage or need protection from heart attack and stroke are also overweight and need to lose weight. So that could be some very good news in terms of the older generation or people on Medicare, hopefully eventually getting coverage for the Mounjaro in that way. I feel like my thing is like moving on me. But that is a current study that is undergoing. So I don't see that happening within the next probably, year and a half to 2 years is something that would be updated. But I do think that as time goes on, coverages for these medications is going to change. I work a nanny, but I don't work. My sister, who has been on Wegovy, as you guys know, for weight loss, my sister that's not on Mounjaro, is a teacher, and I mentioned this, that her insurance, which is the state of North Carolina insurance, actually dropped coverage for weight loss medications. And they did it not in an open enrollment period, which I was not under the impression was legal. I'd have to look into that more. But essentially she went to pick up her medicine in the end of April, and they were like, nope, coverage stopped in the beginning of April. And there is a teacher that works with her that actually taught my son Bryson, so we kind of have a relationship, that was telling me that she has been diagnosed recently with a lot of things, one of those being kidney failure, or kidney disease and liver disease, one of those. And maybe I shouldn't have spoke on that. It's one of them things. And the only, real cure for it is weight loss. And because of that, she's been trying to get these medicines covered, and her insurance still won't cover them. The state of North Carolina insurance, even though she has all of these other issues. So I do foresee some things changing. However, she did mention that I think they have Blue Cross Blue Shield told her that they are paying more currently. A big reason why they're dropping these things, and a lot of insurances is because they're paying more right now for weight loss medications than they are for cancer treatments, which is crazy. So something definitely needs to happen with the price point in order for these insurance companies to come back around and it all to sort of balance out. And I think that right now, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are charging the amount that they are because they can. And hopefully once, it's been out for a long time. I mean, they hold the patent until like 2036, I think. And most people are thinking it'll go through 2040 because they have the option to recertify it. Hopefully before then, some things happen and prices change, but I get it. Like, insurance companies are probably losing a ton of money paying out for these weight loss medications. And then if they increased the cost of premiums, then it would be kind of counterintuitive and why not just pay for at some point it hurts the consumer either way you do it. The insurance company, in order to cover it, would have to increase prices, but then you're paying more for your insurance, even though you get your medicine covered. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big mess that I really hope gets figured out at some point soon. But that's I wanted to touch on that little Medicare tidbit. I do know that Novo Nordisk has released an article recently. I think I'm going to try and cover more about this in a more detailed video, where they might be looking at a price lowering thing for Wegovy, Ozempic. So we'll touch on that later, but they did release an article about it. Okay, so on to the orderly meds thing. I have been noticing several changes going on over there in their communication process, in their recertification process. If you are new here or you're unfamiliar, I use Orderly Meds to get my tirzepatide. I've been doing that for a couple of months now. I love them. And I do have a link down below. I don't work with them. I just, have a link that they actually give everybody when they sign up. But anyways, I have been noticing a lot of changes on there. And one of the big changes that I and a few other people I've noticed in the Facebook group have been picking up on is that when you go in to recertify currently, the date for recertification is like a year out. So right now it says like I would recertify in May 18th or something, and it says May 18th, 2025. And so somebody asked about it in the Facebook group, and a representative from Orderly came out and said that they're undergoing or they're redoing the process and how you recertify. So instead of it being a monthly thing where they send you the link to recertify, you do it, and then they send you the meds, it's going to be you recertify sort of when you need to, and you get charged when you choose to. So essentially, you get to go in and recertify when you need more medicines and pick your date and all of that. And then you will be charged that way versus being automatically charged and your certification being due on the same day every month. Because I'm pretty sure that if you didn't recertify, then, I don't know what that process was with like canceling and all of that, or if it would just automatically renew on its own and charge you even if you don't check in. So they've been trying to redo that process. They are a newer company, so they're kind of been trying to fine tune things, but I think that's really good, especially for people who are taking doses less often. Like say you're spreading out to like 10 days, then you're able to go in and recertify and be billed when you actually need the medication versus when it tells you that you have to. That is actually going to be very beneficial for me because I don't take the full 15 milligram dosage right now. I've explained that. So I do have a little bit of a stock built up, although the vials don't obviously last as long, but there's the wiggle room that you are able to have with being able to recertify when you want to. So I think that is really good news. I think that's a great move on Orderly Meds' part to kind of head in that direction, because there are a lot of people that started the Mounjaro journey a year and a half ago now. All these people like myself that were like the originals that are now looking for more maintenance dosage. And so this is their way of sort of sliding into a more maintenance plan, which I think they are actually moving towards offering a full maintenance plan. So I think that's great news. But yeah, I wanted to give those little updates this morning on how everything is looking. So, Mounjaro, currently through August, we are in a shortage, and that's just, I don't know. It's not going to get any better, folks. Through the end of the year is my prediction. So emoji of the day, let's do a fish, because I'm currently looking at a container of goldfish on my counter. So let's do a fish for the emoji of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did. I did not do a weigh-in this morning because of being on my cycle, on my period. So I didn't want to do that this week because it just makes me mad when I'm a couple of pounds up. So I just avoided that this week, but I will have a weigh-in next week for you guys. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing some more like what I eat in a day type videos. I've been trying to really fine tune nutrition lately and get to working on that. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. And yeah, I will see you guys on Friday. We're going to have a Temu haul actually, so it won't be Mounjaro related, but if you like all of my content, then that'll be up on Friday. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with another Mounjaro update. Bye guys.